Hi, my name is Mannat, and through this course, I was developed significantly, both professionally and personally. The course helped me rethink of my view of inclusion, how we do inclusion in early childhood education. It was not simply a matter of learning new strategies. It was about thinking about seeing diverse learners differently. Today I will outline 5 of my major learnings throughout the course and how the readings help me develop as an educator. I will share with you the followings. Learning one is inclusion isn't just extra support. It's about changing the way of we view our learners and supporting their individual development needs. The most significant change in my thinking was about inclusion was understanding that inclusion should be viewed as the entire environment being inclusive of all learners. Through this course, it was established that the role of all educators in an inclusive learning environment is to provide an high expectations of all learners and support their strengths and support their difference in way that positively impact their experiences in the classroom. Additionally, an important concept that was reinforced to me in the course was that a child should not be expected to change in order to align with the environment. Therefore, the environment must be adapted to suit the learners. For example, I now ask myself when I notice a child struggling with the transition, how can the environment be adapted to make the transition for the child feel less doubting as opposed to asking the child to cope with the transition. Key learning 2 is universal design for learning makes learning accessible for everybody. The second thinking I learned was universal design for learning. As I learned through All Play Learn 2023, UDL provides a framework to view learning that is flexible from the beginning and does not wait for a child to struggle before we support them. As such, learning experiences are designed with multiple means of engagement, participation, and demonstration of learning from the beginning. So now I am much more deliberate about providing options, visual supports, and sensory tools to retain accessibility, and it has helped me to see how inclusion strategies support all children and not just those with the diagnosis. For example, now I am developing group time activities. I automatically consider the ability of the children to move, the visual ability of the children, and the ability of children to engage with these activities in different manners. This came directly from the UDL model. Important learning 3 is a collaborative effort is necessary. Inclusion requires a team approach. A major insight I gained about collaborating partnerships for inclusion was how inclusive practice isn't determined solely by one educator, rather it is shaped by a collaborative team including families, specialists, co-educators, and the community at large. Early Childhood Australia 2024 shared planning knowledge and responsibilities are essential element in developing effective inclusive practices. I now understand the critical importance of maintaining open lines of communications with families regarding their children, particularly when addressing the needs of children with disabilities or developmental delays. For example, rather than presuming to know what a child requires, my new thought process is now what the knowledge does the family poses that I don't. This was the result of my information I acquired through the research. The fourth key way is take away the different my study positive behavior support is more effective at the reducing problems behaviors than using punishments. A major learning experience for me occurred when I read Herivati, Jeffries, and Sanders 2024, their findings about positive behavior support shifted my perspective away from a management of behavior mentality and provide a clear understanding of why we should begin with understanding why someone behaves in a specific way before responding. This allowed me to view children's challenging behaviors as an expression of unmet needs instead of as naughty behaviors. Consequently, I am now able to approach them with greater patience, curiosity, and proactive than I previously had. For example, when a child is hitting a peer, instead of just looking at the immediate consequences of hitting, I will first consider what may have caused the child to react in this way, such as sensory overload, communication breakdown, or something else entirely, and create an environment that provides the necessary support for the child's unmet needs. Learning 5 is EYLF supports inclusion cultural responsiveness. The final key learning relates back to the updated EYLF 2025 concepts such as belonging and identity and cultural responsiveness. And my expectations for all the children have helped me build an exclusive practice. The EYLF helps me to remember that all children should have to access everything available to them, and therefore it is crucial that we have break down barriers to the participation for children experiencing disability and children from cultural diverse backgrounds, children impacted by trauma, and children with developmental differences. My understanding of the importance of the developing inclusion and respectful relationships with all the children and supporting the creation of safe learning environment is further supported by the evidence presented in the EYLF. For example, I now view the learning outcomes of the EYLF through an inclusive lens rather than just considering what a child should get of an experience. I have also changed the way I provide learning experiences to ensure all children can participate. In conclusion, through these 5 learning outcomes about inclusion, my understanding has changed from being set of strategies to an ethical obligation to equitable respect to others and to teach respectively. I now feel much more confident in supporting diverse learners. Inclusion is now inherited to my practice. This subject has positively impacted me personally and professionally and has increased my commitment to creating a safe, capable, and valued learning environment for all the children. Thank you.